Am I the a-hole for walking away from a house I have no equity or legal claim to and refusing to support my soon-to-be ex?
Story. Before marriage, my in-laws made it clear I would have no ownership or paperwork on the house they helped my wife buy, and they required a strict prenup. I agreed and protected myself legally. During the marriage, I split all household expenses 50-50 and paid toward furniture and upgrades, believing we were building a future. I travel for work and live simply. I recently found out my wife was cheating while I was out of town. I immediately moved into an Airbnb, hired a lawyer, and filed for divorce. I stopped giving her money. It turns out she hadn't used my contributions responsibly and is now struggling financially. I left behind almost nothing and have no legal or emotional reason to stay involved. Despite this, my ex, her family, and even my mom think I'm being too harsh by not helping her through the divorce. Am I the a-hole for walking away completely?
Let's discuss this. Okay, so this story is, it's just a perfect clash, right? You've got the
Yeah.
cold, hard legal certainty on one side,
Right.
and then this really intense familial pressure on the other. The prenup dictates the outcome, but the real, the dilemma for him is the emotional cost of going against his own mom.
And what's so fascinating here is just how clearly the boundaries were set from day one. I mean, from the very beginning.
Right.
The initial agreement was no ownership, strict prenup. So this marriage was financially, it was structured less like a joint venture and more like two people just sharing expenses.
So when he walked,
When he walked, he simply fell back on the protection he had wisely set up for himself before the marriage even started.
exactly. And, legally speaking, the fact that he was paying 50-50 for all the household bills, that doesn't just translate into equity in the home.
No, not at all. Courts usually see that as a consumption expense. You're basically just paying for your cost of living during the marriage.
Right. And the fact that his wife was apparently struggling financially, immediately after he left.
Yeah, that's a big tell. It suggests she was, well, completely reliant on his half of those contributions just to manage her life. She wasn't using that money responsibly to build her own financial security.
Okay, so that gets to the nuance of him paying for the upgrades, the furniture.
Mm-hmm. That's the tricky part. He paid for improvements on a home he knew, for a fact, he had zero legal claim to.
So in the eyes of the law, what is that?
In the eyes of the law, money you spend improving someone else's separate asset is, well, it's generally considered a gift or commingling, and trying to get it back is incredibly difficult.
Especially with that prenup.
Exactly, especially if the prenup didn't specifically say he'd be reimbursed for those kinds of investments. He made an emotional investment in a house that was always legally just hers.
So he's already taken a loss on the furniture and all that,
Yeah.
and her infidelity just gave him the perfect moment to pull the ripcord, to execute that legal exit strategy.
And it did.
But this is the critical point, I think, for you, the listener. Why all the pressure from the outside, the family, and especially his own mother, they're demanding he provide a soft landing.
Yes, and they're appealing to a moral framework of a marriage that, for that specific asset, legally never even existed.
So they're asking him to ignore the very prenup they demanded he sign.
Precisely. It's a really common situation where, family or friends see a divorce not as a dissolution of a contract, but as a failure of character.
And the breakdown of trust, the cheating, that changes everything.
It completely changes the dynamic. It released him from any perceived moral obligation he might have felt to be generous. He's choosing the legal path over the path of what they see as chivalry.
He fulfilled his end of the bargain.
Yeah,
He contributed 50-50 the entire time.
he did.
Now that the partnership is over, he owes nothing more. So the deep dive takeaway here really is that when trust collapses, you fall back on the letter of the law. And, well, that often feels harsh to people who benefited from the prior arrangement. My take is that the key issue is the husband's decision to strictly enforce the protective boundaries set by the prenup after his trust was betrayed. Based on that, I think the husband was not in the wrong because he is merely upholding the strict legal and financial boundaries that were established at the start of the marriage, and he has zero legal obligation to support her now.
But what do you think? Was the husband in the wrong? Let us know your judgment in the comments below.
And make sure you like and subscribe to Clear Cut Narratives for more deep dives like this.